This summer, I had the privilege to spend my days learning about and engaging with the Santa Cruz River. Through the BioRETS... Wait a minute, this isn't right. That's better. As I was saying, I had the privilege of learning about the Santa Cruz River with the BioRETS program. Yep, same river. Hard to believe, right? How did we go from this to this? Well, follow me, and I'll show you. You see, the Santa Cruz River once carved life into the Sonoran Desert, a silver artery weaving through thousands of years of human presence, from hunter-gatherers to the canal-building Hohokam and their Cho'ono-Arim descendants. Spanish colonists, guided by indigenous wisdom, built missions along the fertile floodplains, like Tumakakori and the Sanavir del Bac. The water in the river was sustained by mountain snowmelt, monsoon rains, and a balanced aquifer. But by the mid-20th century, it went from this to this. The river's voice had all but vanished. 95% of its perennial flow lost beneath highways and power lines, leaving only a dry arroyo. So, beginning in 2013, the Agua Nueva and Tres Rios water treatment facilities began returning treated water to the dry river. The vast network of pipes and buildings receives the water and waste that enters the Tucson sewers. Sorting this out is a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. These little bacteria are working hard to make sure that the water is cleaned and ready to move on to the next of many stages before being safe enough to be released back into the river as effluent. The effluent is now the lifeblood of renewal, reestablishing over 20 miles of steady flow. This is where we come in, a group of 10 educators from local Tucson schools. We learned about the rich history of the river, walked its banks, and researched the areas to understand how this once mighty river was finding her voice again. We started in the classroom, learning about the river and the types of research we're doing over the summer. We were pretty excited when we finally got to go to the river. For more learning, of course. We even got to meet a few of the critters that call the river home. Like this cute little guy, who was a little feisty while we measured him to track the progress of the desert mud turtle's reestablishment in the river. There was plenty of work to do when the time came to break us into our research groups. Some counted dragonflies and damselflies. Others tracked the plant species along the river. My group braved the extreme heat away from the surface water to put up trail cameras to track the wildlife at 5 different points along the Santa Cruz River. Finally, after 5 days of gathering data, it was time to take down our cameras and go through the many pictures to see what kind of wildlife we had captured. Among the pictures we got to see, we got pictures of javelina, bobcats, coyotes, and what seemed like 1,000 cottontails. So why is this research important? Well, by studying the plants and animals that grow and live on the river, we can see firsthand how revitalizing the Santa Cruz with effluent transforms it into a living model of urban ecological resilience, bringing back endangered helitop minnows, macroinvertebrates, and over 300 species of birds, like the black vulture that has been rarely found along the banks of the Santa Cruz in recent years, offering scientific evidence of ecological recovery. This resurgence, however, remains fragile. The river is effluent dependent, vulnerable to policy, invasive species, and growing aridity. Still, a vision arises of an urban national wildlife refuge anchored in connectivity, habitat protection, indigenous stewardship, and equitable access. It is our job, as stewards of this land and river, to continue the work in the Santa Cruz. Now, with the help of BioRETS and all the people involved, the story of the Santa Cruz will continue, where, as a class, we will take an in-depth look at this beautiful and life-giving part of our unique desert.